Russell, Russell-on descriptions. We'll look at Russell-on descriptions today and on Monday. On Monday we'll see that, though this is a very, we might even say technical subject, it's a little bit subtle, a little bit, how should I say, you can't quite see what the big issues are. We'll see on Monday that these questions about names and descriptions that Russell's talking about are really right next to some of the most basic questions in philosophy. And in fact, the whole time in this class, we'll be keeping it relatively technical, but lots of the big questions about what conception of truth we have, what our language, what kind of conception of reality we have, what the relation is between sense data and the world of concrete physical objects. These questions are always right next to the topics we're discussing. The topics we're discussing seem to be in some ways more basic than these questions, but they certainly have implications for them. So today's bombshell is that descriptions aren't referring terms. I can hear the startle reaction, but so that kind of gives a big reveal away. But the way that we've been working so far is that there are all these singular terms identifying particular objects, and this is the kind of naturalist that Frege seems to be working with. That they include the terms that specify particular objects that you're then going to go on to say something about. That would include descriptions like the tall man I called earlier, the point of intersection of A and B, as well as names like Sally or California, or demonstratives like this and that. Yeah, so we've got this kind of ragbag of different singular terms. And Frege's idea seems to have been, and Searle's idea was certainly, you can take the class of proper names, Sally, California, and so on, and explain how they work in terms of definite descriptions. Frege and Searle write as though you could have a language that didn't have any proper names. It only had definite descriptions. And when you introduce proper names, they're just recognizing the talk that we are doing in terms of definite descriptions. So in Frege's account, it's that the name is abbreviating a definite description. On Searle's account, the name is a peg on which to hang a bag of definite descriptions. So the basic picture in Frege is you get the sign, which will be the singular term, then you get the sense, which is specified by description, or as in Searle, a cluster of descriptions, and that's how you get to the reference to the sign. The reference to the sign is whatever matches the description. Russell's point is that none of this can be right. There's got to be a basic class of names that gets tied up to objects, but not by way of descriptions. Descriptions themselves are not referring terms. So you're going to have a class of names for which something like this is the right picture. You get the sign, and you get the object. And if a sense is something like a description, there is no sense mediating the connection between the sign and the object. The hook between the link between the sign and the object has to be being set up without appeal to descriptions. So I hope to make that completely convincing by the end of this hour. Okay? Well, that's the task. So what is a name? Here's Russell on a name. A name is a simple symbol whose meaning is an individual or particular. So you specify the meaning of the name by saying what it stands for. That's the thing I was doing last time with line and circle and smudge and all that. Yep. That these are terms that you specify their meaning by saying which thing they stand for, which individual or particular. There are questions I agree, like is love a particular, that we're kind of bracketing for the moment. There's a question as to how far the notion of a concrete object goes. We will touch on that on Monday, actually. But if you ask what's a name, well, it's a name if you specify its meaning by saying what it stands for, and it doesn't have any parts that are themselves symbols. So a name like Sally has got parts all right, so it's the S and the A and the L and the L and the Y, but those are not themselves symbols. So Scott is a simple symbol because though it has parts, namely separate letters, those parts are not symbols. That's all right. That's the simplicity of a name. I mean, of course, there are words in there, like cot is in there, but that's kind of an accident. Yep.
So if words stand for objects in the world, why can't we think of letters as standing for the sound?
Letters standing for sounds?
Yeah.
Well, you can think of letters as standing for sounds, I think that's right, but there's something more basic about the spoken language than the written language. Yep, that's what you're saying. You don't think of the written sounds as standing for letters. Yeah, so you might say, well, you only really get what the letters are when you get their translations into, or their translations into sound. But the thing is, the notion of standing for is different in these two cases. As you go back to semantic value, yeah, the idea is that the term is making a contribution to the truth or falsity of a sentence containing it. Yeah? And what the name Scott stands for, that makes a difference to the truth or falsity of a sentence containing it. That's all right. Okay. But the thing, what verbal noise the sign stands for in that sense, that has nothing to do in any direct way with the truth or falsity, with how the truth, what the truth or falsity of the sentence is. It doesn't, the symbol isn't making a contribution to the truth or falsity of the sentence by standing for a particular sound. You see what I mean? So there's kind of an ambiguity in stand for. Yeah. One has to do with semantic value, the other one doesn't. It's important, but it's something else. Yeah. Okay, so much for Scott, a simple symbol. On the other hand, take the author of Waverley. That, as you can see, has all kinds of junk in it. It has all kinds of bits and pieces. But that's not a simple symbol because the author and Waverley, these are separate words that are themselves symbols. Yeah, so with the separate words in it that are themselves symbols, then it's not a simple name. So in particular, if you look at the author of Waverley, then what's in there? And what are those bits and pieces in there? That's a basic question about descriptions. What are those bits and pieces in there? And what are they doing in there? What are you guys all doing in there? What is happening? They're all in this kind of, there are seats over here. There are all these kind of old friends jumbled together in this playpen, the author of Waverley. But what are they up to in there? What is going on? What are they doing in there? So just to start breaking it down, the puzzling thing is, although at the start you think, well, this looks like a singular term. Well, when you get some focus in this thing, you say, who are these guys anyway? One of them it looks like a general term. And so how come there's a general term in there? Is this a singular term? What's it doing in there? Right? I mean, that's like, is tall. If you ask what semantic value is, it's a map from people onto truth values. That's all right? For every name of a person, you can put it in there, a different truth value. And really, there's two bits in there. There is really a relation. Is blank is an author of something, and the name Waverley. Okay? So whatever's going on, this is certainly not a simple symbol. But there's a further question. How are these bits and pieces being put together to generate a meaningful composite? So Russell says, we have then two things to compare. A name, which is a simple symbol, directly designating an individual, which is its meaning. So that would be something like line or square, the way I was using them last time. And having this meaning in its own right. So if you introduce a name like line or square, and you say, that's, I hereby dub this mark line, then that connect between the name and the object was set up independently of any connects being set up between any other symbols and an object. So that name has that meaning in its own right, independently of the meanings of all other words. But it's different with the author of Waverley. Once you fixed the meanings of the author of and Waverley, you have thereby fixed the meaning of the whole thing. So the meaning of that whole composite depends on the meaning of other words. So a description consists of several words whose meanings are already fixed, and from which result whatever is to be taken as the meaning of the description. So this should all seem plain as day, and in a way kind of laboriously spelling out the obvious. It should seem immediately compelling as I explain it, if I'm explaining it correctly. The question that we're going to have is, how does this go? What are you doing when you fix the meanings of those words, and then you get the meaning of the description as a result? How does that work? What are the mechanics of this? But that's just first on the basic contrast between names and descriptions. So it should already be seeming a bit shaky that descriptions actually are singular terms. Something different is going on with names. Sorry, something different is going on with names than with descriptions. They're working in different ways. Okay, is that plain as day? Okay. So what's Russell's theory? Russell's theory is about how the components of a description work together to generate the meaning of the whole description. So take the author of Waverley was Scotch. Right? You take this fine novel Waverley and you remark about it, the author of Waverley was Scotch. So let's look at that bit, the author of Waverley. The thing is, this looks just like you were saying Scott was Scotch. Right? This looks like you got a singular term here and a general term being applied to it. It looks like Sally is tall. The point is, that appearance is really misleading. So in that thing, the author, in this sentence, we can distinguish two general concepts. There's the wrote Waverley part, and there's the was Scotch part. Okay, two general terms. Okay, class, what is the semantic value of this one, wrote Waverley? It is a map from objects to truth values. So, let me give an example. Suppose you take a function, right, like squared. Okay, squared, right? Now you put in a number here, like 2, and what do you get out? 4, very good. Now we're cooking. So, I put in another number here. What do I get out? Great, okay. So what this is, if you just take square, the square function, this is a map from numbers to numbers, right? Yeah, that's all right? Okay, so I could similarly take a function that was a map from words onto numbers. If I put in a word, then what comes out is the number of letters in the word. You can have a function like that, okay? So I write in Seattle, and I get out, yes, that's what I make it. Okay, that's all right. So this is a map from letters to numbers. Yep. So the idea is that you get something like this. This is a map from people to truth values. You put in Robert Birkenau, there, wrote Waverley, and what truth value do you get out? What's Waverley? Okay, I'm glad this came up. Waverley is, I think, a 19th century novel written by the great Scots novelist Sir Walter Scott. Okay, Robert Birkenau, despite his many qualities as a Renaissance man, not being a distinguished 19th century Scots novelist, is not the man. Right? Does that clarify that? Okay, maybe we should have Waverley on the reading list. Okay. Right. Very good. Okay, that was worth it. Right. Okay, so if you put Robert Birkenau as your input here, you get his output false. If you put in Muhammad Ali in here, what do you get his output? False, right? You put in practically anyone here, you get it coming out false. Yes? But it's still a function, right? It's still a map from people onto truth values. That's all right? Yeah. Okay, so this too is a map from people onto truth values. Yep. That's its semantic value. Maps people onto truth values. They're kind of like functions. Where was I? Okay, so you've got these two general terms in there with those kind of semantic values. They're mapping people onto truth or falsity. Just one last exercise. If you put in Scott here, what do you get as output? Very good. Right. Okay, that was the right answer. Okay, so let's just focus on the author of Waverley part. If you say the... Oh, yeah. Okay, I've been glossing that. Yeah, it really is people. You specify which person you're putting in by putting a name in. Yeah. But so to get a whole sentence, you've got to put a name in. But whether the sentence is true or false depends on who that name refers to. That's right. In this kind of case, if you put square, it's really a map from numbers to numbers. But the only way I can tell you which numbers I'm talking about is to write one in. You see what I mean? So literally what you put in the slot is a bit of language. But the semantic value of this bit of language, the general term, is the map from objects to truth values. And which object you're mapping onto a truth value depends on which object the name stands for. Yeah. Yeah. You could write a man wrote Waverley and you still get an output. That's right, that's very good. In a way, that's the key point today. So let me just, let's just pause a bit in that example because that is a very good point. I mean, a man is not the name of any particular man. Yes? Yes, okay, there might be something called a man, but that's not strictly to the point. That's an accident. Right? In the usual meaning of the term in English, right? A man is not the name of a particular man. Yeah. Okay. So what is going on? Because a man wrote Waverley can be true. Yeah, and not only because somebody might be called Aman, but because it just might be true that Aman wrote Waverley. Now, Aman is what Russell calls an indefinite description. Yeah, and he says, look, that's really colloquial. If you say a man came to see me today, you might say that's a very indefinite description. That's fine, right? Well, there's something indefinite about it. You're not saying which man. Yeah. Okay, but that can be true. Aman wrote Waverley. So if the semantic value of Waverley, of wrote Waverley, is a map from objects to truth values, just take it for granted that what I just said is true, that the semantic value of this is a map from objects to truth value. How can it be true that Aman wrote Waverley? Because you've not specified an object. How can it even be meaningful? Because you've not specified an object that can be mapped onto a truth value. Yeah? Is that easy, is it? What's going on? Okay, suppose you take this function. This function takes you from numbers. Suppose this function takes you from numbers onto, actually this is going to be too complicated. Let me give the answer here and then I'll give you the analogy with numbers. I think what's going on with Aman is, it says something like, there is some name such that, if you put that name into the slot here, the whole thing would would have truth as the output. So what Aman says is, there is a name n such that n wrote Waverley maps onto true. That's right, yes, that's right. Thank you. Of man. Yeah, there is a name of man n such that if you put it into that slot, then you'll get something true. So it's still true that the general term is only mapping objects onto truth values. But what you've done is you said something like, and actually it is, right? You see what I mean? It's saying something like how many. So once you've got this kind of term, mapping objects onto truth values, you could have inputs to this. They don't actually specify which person, but they just say how many. They say there's at least one man, such that if you put the name in there, and you get something true out. Or you might say, well, if the human race had jointly written Waverley, then you could put any name in there and get something true out. So if you took some general term like perishes, presumably you could put anything in there and you get something true out. You see what I mean? So in that bleak mood, you can say everything perishes. And what you're saying is, this is a map from objects onto truth values, all right? But what you're just saying is, put any name in there and you get something true out. So you can have a how many term going there. Yeah. No. Yeah, I wasn't thinking of the human race as itself, for example. All I meant was, if we all had written Waverley jointly, then each individual name you put in there would be coming out as true. The thing would be coming out as true. So I just meant, the example was Aman wrote Waverley, yeah, but it could be everyone, or it could be at least two. Yeah. What about at least 3 people wrote Waverley? How would that work? Anyone? Yeah. Yeah. How would you explain what that meant in these terms? Well, okay, you don't need me here. Okay, the only thing I change about that is, it's not quite M, N, and P wrote Waverley, it's M wrote Waverley, and N wrote Waverley, and P wrote Waverley, yeah, but that's completely correct, what you say. Okay? Are you perfectly happy with the last comment? Put your hand up if you're not perfectly happy with the last comment. Yeah. Right. That is the one weak spot for this approach. Maybe there are things that don't have names. Yeah. In that case, you have to either say, this would say there is a potential name, yeah, because you could give it a name. Maybe not everything has a name, but everything could have a name. Here we have this poor little orphan child, yeah, but you could give it a name, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I'm music. Yeah, okay. That's right. The reason I'm putting it this way is to make very clear the connection between what happens when you explain the meaning of the predicate here in terms of a map from names and a reference onto truth values. Given you've got the framework set up in terms of names, what is the connection between that and this kind of phrase, Aman? Yeah, and that's why I'm doing the shuffle with name to get. And I think you can. Work with the kind of problem that you were raising by talking about potential names. I think you can do that. But you're right. There are further issues here. Yeah. Sorry, it's going 1, 2. That's right. That's right. It leaves it open. Yeah. So you'd want it to be at least true that there were you could have M wrote Waverley and N wrote Waverley and whatever the other one was, P wrote Waverley. Yeah. Yeah. You want those 3 truths, and for those 3 not to be identical to each other, and you just leave it open whether there was anybody else who had a go to. You just keep silence about that one. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, because it was joint authorship. Okay. But we should shift to we should maybe shift from wrote Waverley to was an author of Waverley, or was at least a contributing author of Waverley, something like that. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that would be quite good. Yeah. Yep.